the alerts for the video.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to MD's coverage of the 2022 Prague Pro. We've got a great show for you today. I am Jen Giresi, online COO for Muscular Development, subbing in for Ron Harris today. And with me is the host of MD Global Muscle. In Prague live right now, the host of the ELVS Prague Pro live stream commentary, Mr. Giles Tiger Thomas.
How you doing, Jen?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm very upset because I didn't get my picture on the lanyard. On the lanyard.
They need to fix that right away.
They said they would actually send me one. I said, no, I'm not that. I said, I'm not that bothered. So, yeah, what a show. Really, the hotel, I mean, this is the most incredible Hilton I've ever stayed at. I'll put some videos on the MD Instagram stories. But and it's all under one roof. Literally, the show's downstairs. It's like a 1 minute walk. I've got a few trade stands. The venue is beautiful. Holds 1,100 people. The lighting, the production. You know, I went to I went to the first one in 2012. That was at the different one. That was at the it was an ice hockey rink or something next to a hotel. But they moved it here last year, and it's seriously upgraded. I was so impressed. And yeah, this is the most. And this I've never stayed in a hotel like this. I mean, it's so advanced. It's beautiful. So, but yeah, so I want to get into it. I've got a lot to say about the show because obviously we were sat right next. Instead of being up in the heavens where they sometimes put the live stream hosts, they put myself and Lauren on a table right next to the judges. So we were literally 20 foot from stage. So it meant I could read the numbers. I could see what was going on. I didn't have to look at the big screen. I didn't have to look at the big screens. I could look straight at the competitors. So, but yeah, really good show. And I've got.
I imagine you do. Well, first of all, let's just get right into it. We had one of the most anticipated pro debuts of the year, Michael Krizo, aka Chriso. You were there in the flesh. You saw him with your own eyes. Let me hear it.
I've never been so impressed and disappointed at the same time.
I know what you mean. Yes. Well, I have my pluses and minuses too, but I want to hear yours first.
Okay, right. Well, I think it's probably best if we start with the pluses because there are a lot of minuses here, and I'm known for being an Andrew Jack hater, which I'm not. I think he's amazing, but he has improvements, and I think I may as well keep that going because a lot of the Chriso fans. Probably not going to like what I'm going to say. Some of what I'm going to say anyway, because I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to basically say what I see here. But I saw him this morning, literally probably an hour and a half before the show started. I'm sure that's right. Okay. And he turned up in a T-shirt and baggies. He turned up to the backstage area and he was white. No, this is important because he was white as a ghost. He had no tan on and I could see from his arms. Because I used to wait at the hotel for the days of the British Grand Prix in the early 90s. I would from 92 to 97. I used to wait. I'd see Kevin DeVrone. I'd see Paul Dillette, Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman walking in, and I could tell which ones were in shape and which ones weren't from their faces. Chriso was walking around in a T-shirt, and yes, he is huge. He's absolutely huge. His arms are enormous, but I could tell straight away he wasn't in condition. So anyway. I saw him at the backstage area and he pulled his baggies down and his legs just looked like big 2 white blobs. Oh. Seriously. And I was like, this guy's going on stage in 2 hours and he's got no tan on, not even a base coat. Now, this guy is a very pale-skinned competitor. And I mean, funny enough, it was this show 10 years ago that Dennis Wolf finally got his tan right. Because for many years in the Olympia, Dennis Wolf was one of these guys that his tan was always an issue. And then he learned, I remember I got him and his wife drunk at the after party because I bought them triple vodka and Red Bulls. Because I said, congratulations, you got his tan right. And he said, what did you do? And he said, well, we put about 8, his wife said, I put about 8 coats on him. So I was like, okay, well, that's obviously what you need to do. Tanning over a couple of days. Chriso turns up hours before and he's got no tan on. That to me is very, very, very amateurish. Oh, wow. So anyway, obviously they bring him out in groups of 5. He's in the second group of 5. I walked out and I went, holy shit. I said, he's huge. I mean, he is as I mean, Jen, he's as wide as you imagine. I mean, he is huge, right? Okay. As soon as he walked out, I went, if you saw the live stream, you can hear my instant comments. I'm going, what's happened to his tan? He's got no sheen on. His tan, as soon as he did a frontal bicep, all the tan was running off his armpits. I mean, it literally looked like he'd slapped on some Pro Tan and run on stage. That's not good. That some people are saying, I mean, a couple of people said, oh, look, he thinks he's come in for an easy win and he's got cocky and he's got lazy, he's got complacent.
Oh, wow.
And that's kind of what it says, isn't it? I mean, he should have been tanning last night. He should have been tanning 2 days ago, because this is a guy. And the thing is, as the judging went on, he was starting to sweat. And it was actually starting to give him in like the chest and the shoulders a bit of sheen. And the thing is, even just by the time he'd hit a few poses and was sweating, it was actually helping him, because the sweat was coming out and it was giving him a bit of a sheen rather than having this matte. You don't want the matte look when you're walking on stage. You want to have a nice, like the men's physique, most of the classic guys, a lot of the guys in the open, the tan and sheen was perfect and consistent. Chriso's just looked a complete mess. So that is not good. That is good. Okay, let me talk about the positive parts of his physique. His shoulders and arms are incredible.
Yes.
His legs are very, very good. His hamstring drop is incredible. He's got good calves. He's got some nice compulsory poses. And also, because I know we only saw a little bit of video footage from Italy when he turned pro. And when we knew that, basically we saw a bit of a couple of back shots, but because we'd never really seen any back shots from Chriso. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised by his back shots. His readable bicep, I thought, was actually super impressive. George Farrow was next to me chatting to one of the officials, and I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, "What do you think? What do you think about his readable bicep?" And then George just went, "He's soft."
I heard that.
He said he's soft, and you probably heard it.
I did.
You heard it, and I was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Yeah, he kind of is. He kind of is." But the tan and the sheen didn't help, because his condition, I thought, wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But I think when we saw him in Italy, we expected his condition to be so much better. And I don't even know whether it was even better at all. I mean, to me, it looked pretty much the same, if not worse than Italy a few weeks ago. So the chest is very a glaring weakness. He has very, very little ab development. He's got very shallow abs, but then Jay Cutler had shallow abs, and he kind of got the condition and the development to kind of, I mean, the ab and thigh was Jay's best pose. So you can turn a weakness into a strength.
Yes.
The waist for me was very wide. The waist was very wide. And everything else looked good. I'll be honest, everything else looked good. And I just hope that tonight his team drags him backstage if they have to an hour early and says, right, with the tanning people, and say, look, the pro tan people say, look, get it right. You know what a good tan is looking like, because there's competitors going out all day long in all the categories with a great tan, great color, great sheen. And the thing is, and nicely, evenly done. I mean, thing is, Jen, when you're getting tan 2 hours before with not instant tan, but pro tan, the stuff, it takes time to dry. It takes time to soak into the skin. It's not like in the days of like Dream Tan, the instant tan. I used to go backstage like almost white, and I could put Dream Tan on, and within half an hour I could be really nicely tanned. You've seen my contest pictures, but those days are gone. They don't use Dream Tan. They don't use instant tan anymore. So to go backstage and just have 2 coats of spray tan put on literally moments before he's walking on stage is a big no-no. So having said that, has he got the win? I think probably he has, but I don't. I mean, I said to like George said, I don't really heard him saying. He said he can't bring that to the Olympia. He says he won't make top 10. No. Honestly, I don't think he'll make top 15 if he brings that. He won't even. He'll probably be last call out at the Olympia if he. He's going to be last call out. I'll tell you that now. But I think like Andrew Jack, I think in a year or two, if he addresses his weaknesses like the waist thickness, like I said, I was surprised by his back. His rear lat spread. It's no Dorian Yates rear lat spread. It's not a Ronnie Coleman's lat, but it's okay.
He brought it up a lot.
The readable bicep. The readable bicep. I thought was good. And the thing is, my eyes were just drawn to his shoulders, because me, I like the stripy shoulders.
The stripy delts.
And he had it. He had nothing. No gear is going in those shoulders. That's very important. And that's something that is actually sadly very rare today in the pro ranks. And they're huge. I mean, they're huge. Like they're like they're actually better than Rami's shoulders, actually, I'll be honest, because Rami's shoulders don't move. They don't contract, and there's no separation. They look bloated. You know what I mean? They look unnaturally full. Whereas Chriso's, they do look good. So there is a lot of plus points here. I thought his arms and real biceps, everything, the shoulders and arms and the detail and the separation, absolutely incredible. Great rear double bicep. But also another thing, he's very, very for a competitor that's been around as long as he has, he's very inexperienced with his posing. Yes. He was struggling. They were sweating. He was out of breath. And the thing is, when they take him to the Olympia, he might. Someone's sending me stuff.
Everybody's got questions.
He might get go away. People messaging me. So when he goes to Olympia, there's a lot he has to address in 7 weeks. Even if he wins today, because. And the thing is, if he doesn't win today, he's going to get beat by guys who, aren't sort of tier one, top level guys. So he kind of has to win this and learn a lot of lessons, because I think he made a lot of stupid rookie mistakes in this show. And I think it will, if he tries to bring that again to the Olympia, he's just, the hype of this guy is going to die overnight. And it's a shame, because was he 32 now?
Yes, I think he's 31 or 32.
He's 32, so he's got plenty. Well, he does. If he qualifies, he's going to have to bring something different. Otherwise, he's going to have to really sort of go to ground and try and do what he can to make some improvements. But I was impressed, but I'm actually more disappointed than I was impressed. But I just hope they sort the tan and the sheen out for tonight, because it just looked. I was annoyed. I'll be honest. I was like, how could you let him get on stage? How could he let himself get on stage? It does kind of give off the effect that he's the impression that he was like kind of coming for an easy win, and maybe came. I don't know, but that's certainly how it does appear to a lot of people, and a lot of the people are quite annoyed here actually about that.
Yeah. So
he needs to win this, and he needs to really sort his shit out for the Olympia, to be honest, because I don't think he's a top 10 guy. Not even if he addresses all these things in the next 7 weeks. But I think another year or two, if he listens and he's smart, I think, yes, we could have someone that is really going to dominate even at the Olympia in a couple of years. But for now, I just think that he's going to, if he gets the win, he really needs to take some of these things on board, because, I think the hype will flout a lot.
I think you're right. Absolutely. I really like what Michael Krizo brought today. I mean, you were there in the flesh. You saw him with your own eyes. So you had a better eye than I did on the live stream. Although I got to let you know that the live stream was absolutely fantastic. The ELVS Prague Pro team production was bar none. They really went all out. It's a great value. You and Lauren have done a spectacular job so far. I can't wait to see what you're going to bring us on the final. But getting back to, go ahead.
Well, I didn't know whether, because I said to him, I said, look, I need 2 headsets. I said, if I've just got 1 headset, I'll pass over to Lauren for the wellness and bikini. But we got there was 2 seats, 2 headsets. They took it on board, and we had our own kind of like control panels, and where we can adjust volumes. And they came over, and I was like, Hungary was good. I mean, these people use professional sports live stream people, so they do use the best of the best. So, I mean, you could see with this show. Yes. I mean, I'll do some more videos of around the lobby and stuff. You'll see that. The thing is, even when I came in 2012, they spared no expense. So. This is a big deal, this event in Czech Republic. So, and like I said, this hotel is absolutely spectacular. I'm in one of the rooms now, and it's a basic room, but it's stunning.
That's fantastic. That is really fantastic. And it's wonderful that they do that, because it really shows the production value is huge. And the athletes look like they're happy, having a great time. But let's get back to one of the athletes that I want to highlight, and that's Jan Turek. He has really surprised me. I think he's going to get second.
I think you're right. Because I rate him. I actually talked about him on the preview with Ron that we did earlier this week, and because like I said, he's balanced. He's got nice X-frame symmetry. He's tall. He's got but he just needs more size.
Yes,
he's got a great rear double bicep. But Steve that was there. Steve brought him out straight away, and as soon as he started posing, he moved him, because I think Jan was 6th place here last year. Oh, really? And he's had a string of like 6th places. So he's kind of like end of the first call out, top of the second call out kind of guy. But like I think he could. Yeah, I think he's going to get second. Actually, I think you're right. Let me get the sheet. There we are. I've got the sheet here. So, but yeah, Jan Trek looked really, really good. And I mean, can you imagine if he won this? I mean, it would destroy the Chriso myth. Do you know what I mean?
That would be a major upset.
Like if he did,
major upset.
It would. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But imagine if it did. I mean, it would be like. The thing is, it would be on Chriso and his team for letting him get on stage looking like that. You know, with the sloppy tan and the, you know, and he. Another thing, I need to do some cardio because he's. I know he's a big guy and he's a huge guy, but he needs to really sort his posing out because he needs to practice more. You know.
Absolutely, I agree. And there's a lot of improvements he can make before the comparison round in the final. That's going to be the determining factor right there. So,
I've seen competitors turn it around in a few hours in terms of condition, fullness. I've seen some competitors look really poor at the judging, and then the night show they come back and they look completely transformed. So I'm really, really hoping Chriso pulls it out the bag for tonight. You know, I hope that it was, you know, because this is his first pro show, and he did impress. But my God, he needs to bring his chest up as well because he's shoulders and arms. I mean, his chest looks small, exactly. And it didn't look good in the front with the shallow abs and the wide waist.
With the tan running down. No.
You know, he's got a lot of refinement he needs to make if he wants to even hope to be top 10 at the Olympia. So, but like I said, he's having said that, he's still very, very exciting prospect for the future.
Absolutely.
You know, I just think we need to give him another. I think like with Andrew Jack needs another year. I think this guy needs another 2 years.
I think you're right when it comes to Chriso. He does need a little bit more time, but once he reaches that point, watch out. He's going to be a major threat.
How did he look on the live stream?
To me, he looked good. He did look good. He looks like he can win the show. You can't see the detail.
Yeah.
The live stream, I believe, was at 4K. So I saw a lot of detail. He had his striations. I saw that. But you can see where he needs a little more work. You can see where he's lacking and he needs a little bit more work. I'm thinking if he doesn't sharpen up by the finals, maybe Jan's going to take it. That could be a real be a real possibility. People are going to hate me for saying that. Do I think that's going to happen? No, because I think that they're going to realize what they did in the prejudging and they're going to do their best to try to correct that. We've seen athletes come back from the prejudging and win. Look at Texas 21, Ian Valliere. Everyone said Kupo. Ian Valliere in the prejudging was right there. Neck and neck final took it.
That's true. Do you know what it is with Krzyzek though? He looks like a really big amateur, as in he's making like the amateur mistakes of the tan and not paying attention to the fine details like the intercostals and the way, you know, like certain body part of his chest. It's like he looks like he needs to mature as a pro. Like he's only a few weeks. Yes, I feel like maybe he's felt the pressure. Maybe he's felt the, like, you know, because people are so excited about this guy. I feel like I think in 2 years I'll be very excited about Chriso. I think I'm going to be like potentially. Who's to say he couldn't be another Ramy? But he's more at least 2 years away from that. I mean, he's got a lot of work to do. But like I said, he's only 31, 32. So I think 2 years and I'll be very, 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 very hyped about this guy, you know, when it comes to talks about, you know, the Olympia anyway.
Yes, and I'll tell you one person I was a little disappointed not seeing in the final call out, and that was Enrico Hoffman. Because he really looked good. I was so surprised the judges did not put him in the first or the final.
They didn't look at him.
But
do you think maybe it's the quads? Maybe it's the quads from the front, because the quads are a little bit weak from the front. But the side and the back, I thought he looked great, but the judges just were not looking at him. They kept on the right. They didn't move into the center. They just moved. They moved Milan Sadek. They moved Jan Turek. They liked him. In fact, that Kokény Bella from Hungary, he was. I couldn't between him and Milan Sadek for third and fourth. I mean, could Kokeni even get second? I mean, maybe he could beat Jan Turek because the judges really seem to like him. I mean, Steve was calling him out, moving him around, and I thought, oh shit, this guy's going to be second or third here. So I think you're right. I think Chriso will look better for tonight. I think he will squeak the win when I think a lot of people were expecting him to come in and just pretty much hit a pose and walk off for the first place. And I think then he needs to really knuckle down for the Olympia and get his shit together, because he can't be doing this at Olympia. He needs to sort that tanning out and get really professional with that. Second, I think you're right. I think Jan Turek, by the way they were positioning, I think that looks like who's going to be second. Third and fourth, I literally can't decide between Kokeni Bella and from Hungary and Milan Sadek. I think that's going to be. Milan looked good. Milan looked really good. I think it's the best
here. I really did. He looks very different from the last time we saw him at Tsunami.
Can you believe he used to be he's a top 5 Olympia 212 guy?
Yes, I know.
2017. Yeah. He won the Charlotte Pro in 2017. He beat Nicholas Bouliud and Craig Richardson. And he was it was a struggle for him to make 212. And even though he'd made top 5 at the Olympia, he decided to go open and made top 3 in the New York Pro in the Open the following year. I think it was 2018 or 2019 it was. So Vladimir, Enrico Hoffman was really. The judges didn't really give him a chance. I thought he looked good. Kokeni Bella was probably one of the surprises of the show, because I've never heard of this guy before. What else? There was Adolf Burkhardt from Germany, huge, but he needs to seriously drop some body weight if he wants to. I think he could maybe do Romania in a couple of weeks and really tighten up, because that guy's got a lot of size. The midsection is a little bit thick.
Yes.
Quite thick. He's got serious amounts of muscle, like readable bicep. I was like, that guy was just a bit leaner and a bit drier. He would look, he'd look really, he needs to pull it down. He needs to really pull it down. 7th and 8th, I think, is between Pavel Baran and Lewis Breed, the UK
Very
guy.
Good. Yeah.
He messaged, George Farah came down next to me and he says, why haven't they called out number 2? And I said, Pavel. He says, why have they got called him out in first call out? And I'll tell you why. Because he's still lacking in the back.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, fantastic from the front, because he was 4th in 2018 when Ruli was first and Nathan Diasha was second. I forget who was third. So he has been a top 5 guy, and I thought he looked really, really good. Lauren was impressed with him.
I heard her.
George Farah was impressed. Yeah, George Farah was impressed with him, but he's got to bring that back up if he wants to be in the first call out anyway.
100% on that one, and we will see, what happens with our top 5. But I do want to address one thing. I promised my friend Barry that I would give a shout out to one of his friends who's in the Prague Pro today, and that is Vladimir Akolev. So I just want to shout out for Vladimir Akolev. He looked pretty good. Didn't you think so?
He looked good. He was a 212, wasn't he?
He was an open.
No, but he was a 212.
He may have been, yes.
Yeah, I think he was 212. He looked really good, and they called him out at first, and he got was he in first call out?
I don't know. Let's take a look at the first call out. I have it here. So let me bring that up on the screen here.
I can't see it. You can see it.
All right, so let's see. We've got Michael Krizo. We've got Jan Turek. No, I think he was in the second call out.
He looked good, actually. He did look good. His condition was good. I think he's one of those guys that's maybe just starting to grow into the open and just needs more size. But I think he did. He certainly didn't disgrace himself. He looked really, really good. I do have his
posing routine. Here we go. Here's Vladimir. Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it would say maybe 7th or 8th here.
Possibly. Yeah, maybe. I've got Pavel Baran and Lewis Breed in 7th or 8th, so maybe he's got around 9th. Maybe 9th. I don't know. It's the second call out was a bit of a mixed bag, really.
We shall see. But
do you want to go into?
Go ahead.
Do you want to finish? Do you want to finish talking about the open?
I was about to bring that up. Let's talk about the 212.
Okay.
Now, I know who you liked right off the bat, so I'm just going to call it right out. Tomaz came in to win, and he looks like he's got it in the bag. What did you think?
Yeah, I think he's won this. He lacks a bit of chest, but from the back, his back shots, I knew before the show his back shots were going to be sensational. His glutes and hams were really, really conditioned. I thought he looked absolutely incredible. And yes, it was close. It was close. I don't think he's won this clearly, but I think he's got the win. I definitely think he's got the win.
Great physique, looked fantastic.
And yeah, I think it was close between him and Peter Molnar, but
yes.
Actually, it could be third for Peter Molnar because I thought is it Dawid Kriota,
yes.
the pro? He just turned pro earlier this year. He was a little bit smaller, but his conditioning and his shape, his lines was absolutely incredible. And the judges really liked him. They were really battling for. I was thinking, shit, has Dawid got second place here? But I think it's a battle between him and Peter Molnar for second and third. But one thing I am curious about, I'm just wondering if Peter Molnar knew he was coming to do 212 here, or whether he missed the classic weight limit. Maybe he was over a couple of pounds like he was at the Arnold UK, and then just did 212. Because if he does really well here today, which I think he will, he's either going to be second or third. I wonder if Peter Molnar will stay as a 212 rather than and just give up classic, because he was second in classic at the Hungary Fit Parade that I was at 2 weeks ago. But I just think maybe he might look better as a 212 because those few extra pounds really gives his upper body a lot more pop, a lot more. Yeah. So who would you do have for second, Dawid or Peter Molnar?
I'm going to go with Peter Molnar, just because I saw a little bit more detail that I liked, and just a tad, and the conditioning I think was a little sharper. Dawid was good too. They're almost evenly matched, but I'm going to give the edge to Peter Molnar.
Okay. But that's top three. I mean, top three in your first pro show when you've only just turned pro a few months ago. The only problem with Dawid is he really lacks a back. The thing is, his glutes and his hams are so crazy, and the lines in his calves and like the kind of sweeping lines, it's like almost like your eyes are drawn to that, and you kind of overlook the fact that he's actually got a weak back. It's only when I was really looking at his physique closely, I thought, okay, this guy, but it must be so good for these guys, new guys getting looking at first call out next to guys like Thomas and Peter. It must be very exciting for them. Steve Benson looked good, but again, he's just weak from the back. He lacks kind of. Yeah. It's a different. He's like a front side. He looks fantastic, but from the back, he gets pulled down because I think I'm sure he was out of the top 10 in Dubai last week. Pasquale D'Angelo from Italy. I like that guy, but again, he wasn't really getting much love from the judges, and for me, that was kind of one of the best conditions I've seen him in.
Looked great.
I was also, he did. I was very disappointed. Daniel Stickle wasn't in first call out. I thought he would be first call out because I thought he would be top three. He's short, he's stacked. He's like, he's got nice shape. He's got nice taper, nice kind of like V shape. So I really liked his physique, but he wasn't really getting much of a look. He obviously was getting passed over for Dawid and Peter Molnar. So, and obviously Thomas Tabakia, who, like I said, I think will win this.
That's who I have for the winner as well. Clearly, he looked phenomenal. Let's just put his posing routine up on the screen one more time. I mean, look at this guy's detail. Absolutely fantastic. His legs are unbelievable. Fantastic. Definition, love it.
I saw him this morning, and I said, Lauren, that's the guy who I'm picking to win. So this was this morning before I'd even seen him on stage. And if you watch the preview with Ron, I said Thomas is really, really good. I said he's probably my favorite to win this.
Totally agree.
But Peter Molnar, like I said, I'm excited to know what Peter Molnar is going to do now, whether he's going to stick with 212 or classic. Because if he's well under 212, then he could go away and put a couple more pounds of muscle on his legs because the sweep is lacking. They look a bit square. He needs a bit more going on in the lower body because his upper body is absolutely sensational. His upper body is like, top 5 Olympia. but and he does look a bit better, bigger and fuller. You know, he has more pop, and his arms, his chest is incredible. He's got great shoulders, great back. But the lower body, there needs to be a bit more exciting things going on there. Otherwise, he's going to go to the Olympia and you'll get blown away. But it'd be interesting because I think I'm sure he's qualified as a classic already for the Olympia. But is he trying to get a qualification as a 212 as well? Because he's come close. He got fourth. Yeah. He got fourth at the RGK. He beat Henry. He beat Dean White, the guy who won the Portugal Pro, who's absolutely incredible. So he's proving that he can really hold his own in both categories.
Absolutely. And personally, I think Peter Molnar is best in the 212 too. He just looks so much better. It fills him out so much better than you. And some people, they look better in classic. Some people look better in the 212 and the open. Peter Molnar definitely looks terrific in the 212.
But I wonder. I'm guessing. This is a guess now. I'm guessing he turned up not even knowing what category he was going to do, because I'm guessing maybe he was a couple of pounds over and says, "Do you know what? I did okay at the RGK, so even if I'm a couple of pounds over, I'm going to be okay in the 212 class," because maybe that's how he feels and looks his best anyway. But I mean, 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, he was in classic in Hungary, and he took second there. I actually had him winning. And then, how was it? 2 or 3 weeks before that, at the RGK, he was fourth in the 212 in the 212 with guys like Dave Henry. So this is a good place to be, because if he's going to shows like qualifiers like this and thinking, I don't really care what I weigh in, because if I'm slightly over my classic weight limit, I know I can go into the 212 and I can do okay.
I can see that. Think that logic makes a lot of sense in that regard.
That's my. I'm theorizing here, Jen.
No, but I agree with you. It absolutely makes a lot of sense to go that way.
Can I quickly go over who I think will win?
Absolutely. Why don't we talk about Classic? Because Classic was a really big surprise here. Not so much a surprise, but I was surprised one particular guy didn't call that in the first call out. Jacob?
Yeah. I thought he was going to be first call out. I thought he could have been like the front runner.
Yes.
We just walked past him and Laura went up to him and said, "You look fantastic," and he just stared at her. And Lauren says to me, she says, "Oh, I think he's just hungry." He looked about 12 years old in the face. It was so funny, and he had this great physique. I think maybe his conditioning wasn't quite as pin sharp as the other guys, but I thought he had a beautiful structure. Great shape, great flow, great balance. And I was, as was Lauren, I was very disappointed not to see that guy, Jakob Kolonek from the Czech Republic. I really was shocked that he wasn't in that first call out, fighting it out for first.
I couldn't agree more. He looks fantastic. Reminds me a lot of Vers Kalsinski. You know, in the style. Fresh face. But maybe, there's some areas that he may have been lacking in a little bit that just didn't measure up to the others. And we did see some stiff competition in the first call out in Classic. Let's bring them up right now. One of them is your guy from the UK, Calvin.
I have the win between Patrick Hertzek and Calvin Hild, 37 and 38. Patrick from the Czech Republic and Calvin from the UK. Now, Calvin is he's doing as many shows as he can, because I think you might want to check the point standings. I think he is in the top 3 point standings.
Oh, okay.
For the Olympics. He's had a second, he's had thirds. He's been traveling a lot, doing a lot of shows, and he's accumulated a lot of points. So with Calvin, I think, obviously he's coming here because he thinks, if I get a win, it doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about the points anymore, because there's still several classic shows to go until the Olympia. So I do believe we'll see Kelvin in the Olympia. The only thing I didn't like was the way he just front relaxed. He was kind of sticking he was kind of like doing like what figure girls do when they put their arms out and they stick their chest forward, the rib cage, and then he would change it and he'd flex his abs, and he wouldn't look quite as tapered, but he kind of looked better for him. And I think generally some of his poses could be a little bit more classic.
Yes.
So, but that's an easy fix, which he could probably fix for the Olympia, which I do believe he will be in. But he looked really good. He looked really big as well. I remember when he was before he came up to Pro League in the NPC, he was kind of doing all these other little feds and winning everything, and yeah, so it's the first time I've seen him on stage actually, and I think it looked great. And like I said, between him and Patrick Hertzig for the win.
I agree. I definitely agree. They looked phenomenal. They came here to do battle, and they are. But we will see in the final tonight. It could go either way.
And I do apologize for my Peter Dupar joke. Peter Dupar joke. You didn't hear on the live stream. I kept saying to Lauren, I said, yeah,
Super, yeah.
Super. And Lauren said,
Super
really?
Duper.
What, Peter Super Duper? I was like, I swear,
wow.
she actually fell for that one.
That was good.
Because the thing is, I remember him because when I was doing the live stream, when I was off, I was writing down Super Duper looks good. And last year, that was at Spain, I think the August one. So the thing is, when I give funny names to the people and I write notes down, it does stick in my head. Do you know what I mean? So I do remember him from last year. So he looked good, really big as well for a classic. So that's all I've already got to say on the classic. I can't remember who we had to pick for my pick for the wellness. I don't think it's going to be maybe top 3. Maria Paulette from Spain. I think she was good.
Yes, I agree with you.
She looked great. The little short Spanish lady. I thought she was amazing.
Did. She was popping all over the place. She looked fantastic.
Yeah, and there was a lady from Australia that had a wellness lower body and almost like a women's physique upper body. She had like a bodybuilder's upper body. She was huge.
I noticed
her. Lady. I mean, she was incredible, but the upper body was too big for wellness. But I thought she looked really good.
I think you're right. More
but Lauren
style.
Yeah. Just and the thing is, they have their hair over their back, so the back is not really counted. Because normally in figure, if they have the hair, when they pull the back, they pull the hair to the front so you can see the back. But in wellness, they don't move the hair; they keep it there, so the whole back is covered until literally down to the glutes. Because they want the judges not to look at their backs, but to look at their glutes and their hamstrings and their calves, which obviously is the most important part of wellness. Lauren's actually down with Robert Phil, wellness creator, and the husband of Aline Machado.
Okay.
The lady, was it Leonida? Leonida. The lady in the pink bikini, the one that's probably going to win. She's with them now. She's with them right now, chatting, because she does a bit of work for the for Robert for his ladies. He's flying her out to the Olympia because he wants to basically check all the girls' posings and all their hair and makeup. He says I'm a wellness creator. He says I'm not someone that knows about accessorizing and hair and makeup. And he says so that's why I like Lauren there.
That's
so
fantastic.
Kind of, yeah. He's also given her a VIP ticket for the Olympia as well.
Excellent. That is great news to hear.
And she will be getting content for MD as well.
Yes, we can't wait.
Even better.
Yes, that's fantastic too. And we can't wait to have you both back out to the Olympia with, of course, Ron Harris. And we're going to have a fantastic time. I'm unfortunately going to be here in New York, but I will be there running in the trenches with you virtually. So we will have some fun.
Good. And also in the bikini, I like the Ukrainian lady, 68, Valeria Fedorenko, the tall lady. She had like this little thing hanging off her wrist. But I don't know much. I don't know a huge amount of bikini, but for me, she was the clear winner.
She was very beautiful.
And men's physique is clear winner for me. Number 54, Abasai Pietes from Holland. I mean, as soon as he walked out, I was like, yeah, that. I don't even need to see the rest of the guys. I said, he is really
very good.
Beautiful waist and a little bit of gyno, but which Lauren didn't even spot. And I kind of pointed straight out.
Could be a future transitioner to classic eventually.
Possibly. Well, yeah, no, he's perfect. No, he should stay in men's physique. He's really, really. In fact, one of his team members, she said to us, look, watch out for this guy. She says, because he's been fourth. I think he was fourth in Tsunami and third. I might have that completely wrong, but he'd had a fourth and a third, and he was getting better the leaner he was getting as the shows were going on. But I think I'd be very, very super shocked if he doesn't win. And and that's it, really, Jen and Lauren. That's it. I'm gonna get a bit of a nap and change my. and then we're going to go back for the finals at 5. I think there's a George Farah seminar
yes,
going
that's
on right
exactly
now.
right. We will be back later on today for the finals, so you guys don't want to miss that. And of course, so you don't miss that, hit the subscribe button, click the like button, and make sure you click the notification bell and enable all notifications on your phone so you know exactly when we're going to go live and you don't miss a beat.
If you don't, I will kill 10 puppies.
Now that is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. You are so bad.
Okay, 7. 7.
Giles, come on.
I'll strangle them.
Giles, we're going to get demonetized for that one, I swear. All right, so before Giles goes into orbit any further,
I love all animals, you know that. I know that.
So I think what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to wrap it up here. But before we do, I just want to take a couple questions real quick. I want to acknowledge a couple of our members. Hassan B. Sazan. Hello, Sazan.
Hassan, how you doing, mate?
We also have Arlette Fit Over 40 here.
Cool.
Yes,
the usual suspects.
And let's just pick up one question. We'll pick up 1 or 2 questions. We can't go through the whole list, guys. Sorry, but we'll take a couple. We're going to go right to Hassan. And Hassan says, I am not a Nick hater, but it's a bit overshoot that Nick is okay, it's talking about George Farah. Whoops, wrong one, sorry. Live TV, gotta love it. Okay, let's go to Raymond Jones. Krizo's tan looks bad. George can help him with that. Yes, totally agree. Okay. Arlette Fit Over 40. Krizo needs a slap in the face to step up his game. Arlette, that's harsh.
Do you know what, though? It's not. It's like he was expected to come in and, like, this show was, like, presented to him on a plate. And he should have come in fully prepared, like, really, really... I mean, showing up to a show 2 hours before with no tan on when you're literally lily white, I'm sorry, but that's... I'm going to have to say it's a dick move.
Okay.
It is. I'm sorry. It is. It's really, really sloppy. Really sloppy. And you cannot do that to Olympia because they'll laugh you off stage. Seriously. It just, it's like you've got to keep the hype. If you want to keep the hype going with this guy, he's got to turn up. He can't be turning up like sort of just hands in his pockets, like, okay, tan me up then, going on tan with like dripping off him. It looks messy. And he, so like I said, he's there, but these things can be fixed even for tonight, let alone the Olympia. So I am hopeful, but I think over the long term, he needs to sort that midsection out. He needs to bring the chest up. But I do think in 2 years, I think we're going to be, I personally, I think I will be very excited about this guy. But right now, I'm a little bit annoyed with what he brought tonight.
Well, let's see what happens later on in the finals. And of course, guys, if you want to hear Giles and Lauren on the live stream, please go to www.evls.cz and get your copy of the live stream. It is a very good value. The quality is outstanding, and you are really in for a treat today. So, with that said, from myself and Giles, we hope that you have a fantastic day. Please keep it here on MD for the latest, and we'll be back later. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you soon.
See you later.
All right, stand by.